Okay, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Everybody, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You see, the title is class projects. Uh, just at the beginning today, a few minutes, I'll be discussing about that class projects. So I believe you remember that on the very first class, I was discussing that each of you have been assigned, although in a group, to conduct these projects. And at the end of the semester, you have to present through PowerPoint file. Most probably November 13th and 16th, 2 days have been assigned for those projects presentation. So did you get any chance to look at all, or still you did not start?
I have not started.
Okay, so therefore I would, because in now October 2 today, so soon when this month will go away, then November will come. And in fact, I think November 17 is the deadline for this, sorry, the last class for this semester, November 17, and then the exam will start. So you don't have much time. I would recommend you all, you so your names are written. For example, the first one, Priscilla, Eric, and Griffin. So in that way, you will coordinate each of other. Uh, on the presentation day, for example, if you are allowed to present 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then you will divide your timing. For example, if it is 15 minutes, then each of you will present 5, 5, 5. It's up to you who will start, who will end, and who will be talking in the middle, etc. So in that way, you'll be working in a group. So mostly first you have to understand that circuit for each of these, and then you have to simulate it. Whatever PSPice or MATLAB, Python, whatever software you need, you can use that. And then you produce the result so that, okay, it is working through simulation. So you don't need to build any hardware because you all are working from home remotely. And then present that through PowerPoint file. There is no limitation on the number of presentation slides. It may be 10 slides, it may be 15, it may be 8 slides. Whatever best you need for better presentation, you have to do that. So that's also, today this is just a reminder to each of you that you have been assigned. And these all are pretty interesting. All are related to, that biomedical, medical device. Uh, the concept that you are learning in the class, basically these all are the application of the circuit. All are the applications of circuit. So therefore these are pretty interesting. Like number one is the application of RLC transient circuit. Number one, RLC transient circuit. Okay, so does anybody have any question?
Yes. What were the 2 days you said were for the presentation again?
I think 2 days, November 13th and November 16th.
Alright.
If you see the class schedule and that have been posted on eCoursera, there it is mentioned. Last
So
last
how
two
would we
days.
know which day we would present? Is it just like you call one group at a time, or just do the people get to decide if they want to go
No,
first?
I will let you know. Hopefully soon. Today I will make a schedule and I will let you know who will be presenting which date. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Therefore, for example, there are 10 groups. So therefore, 5 group will be November 13th, and then remaining 5 will be November 16th. Yeah. And then on the presentation day, which group will be presenting first? It's like up to you. I will be calling you by the group name, and then who want to start, that you can start. But I will be assigning the date soon. Today I will be working on that, and I will send you an email to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So therefore, from now on, each of you, like you look and you can see book. Few things are available in the book as an example, and then also you may Google, and then circuit will pop up. But you need to simulate that circuit. The circuit is already designed. If you Google, you will get lots of resources in the internet, but you simulate that one and show that that circuit is working properly as expected. That is the goal.
Is there anything else you're looking for in the simulation though? Or is it just like you said, just to make sure that it works?
Yeah, so just make sure that it is working.
Oh, okay.
Just you can show the output response. Okay, this is working. That's all.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. So therefore, once again, after 2 weeks again, I will remind you, and then if you have looked something and if you have any further questions after 2 weeks, then you can again ask. So just I am reminding you today that you have class projects that is assigned. Do you remember that on the very first class I was discussing this on, and this is already posted on eCourseware. I mean, these class projects. There is a separate tab, title is class projects. There these things are mentioned. Okay, so therefore let me share the other document. Just a moment. Okay, now can you see series resonance?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. So as you see that last class we started looking frequency response. How does the circuit behave with respect to frequency variation? So today we'll be looking on important concept which is called series resonance. So I believe from the viewpoint of physics, you already know what is the resonance, especially in terms of the sound. When the sound is maximum, that is called the resonance. Resonance has created. So now today we will be looking the series circuit. For example, there is a voltage source and it has R, L, and C. The phasor domain circuit or frequency domain circuit is given here. So for this circuit, what is the meaning of series resonance? That we will be today looking in detail analysis, followed by numerical examples. So basically, series resonance means you have to tune the frequency, you have to adjust the frequency for this circuit in such a way so that the inductive reactance becomes equal to the capacitive reactance. So therefore here I have written that series resonance occurs when XL equal to XA. Therefore, as you all know, if you write down the impedance expression for this circuit, what will be the impedance? R plus JXL minus JXA. R plus JXL minus JXA. But if I say that when both are equal, XL equal to XA, then plus JXL minus JXA. So those two will be cancelled. Therefore, in the circuit, only R will remain, only the voltage source and the resistance. So therefore, as you can see, what is the benefit of having that? For example, what is your current expression? You know that I equal to this V over G, V over total impedance. Now, when R, L, and C, everything is involved in the denominator, in the G, then current value will be low. But if this condition meets XL equal to XA, meaning that this and this cancelled, in the circuit only you will have R. So your I is V over R, that time current is the maximum. And that maximum current, that is called the resonance. So resonance means creating the peak. For example, you have a television or your radio or the cassette player, you are adjusting, you are tuning, and then you want to hear in a loud voice. So this means you are creating the resonance. Resonance means the peak. So in this case, for this circuit, series resonance means creating the maximum, developing the maximum current. So that's why everybody look right side. The condition is that XL should be XC, and how you will get that? By adjusting the frequency. You will be tuning the circuit, and that will cause at some point XL equal to XC. And what is the meaning of that? This means under a resonance condition, a series circuit becomes fully resistive. That thing I just told. And consequently, current flowing through the circuit becomes maximum. And hence the power dissipates also become maximum. Because that is the maximum, like I square R, that is the maximum power. And I is V over R, that is the maximum. And then also everybody see, pretty interesting, when these two will be cancelled, in your circuit, the power factor will be 1. Power factor will be unity. Because you know that power factor is cosine theta R over J. But if these two cancelled, then in the circuit only R. So cos theta is R over R, just power factor 1. So therefore keep in mind, when it is series resonance, circuit power factor will be 1. So now moving forward, let's analyze these things. The thing that I told here, all those, that equations I have written. Everybody see, for that series circuit, the input impedance Z, and then I am writing in terms of transfer function Vs over I. So what is Vs over I? Because this is G, so R plus J omega L plus 1 over J omega C. I mean, for that series circuit that we are dealing with. Remember, this is our circuit. Now, or I have written in that format, R plus J, these two in parentheses. Okay, and then again, same thing that I already told, I have written resonance occurs when omega L minus 1 over omega C is 0. This means in this equation, if the imaginary part is 0, then that is the resonance condition. So because you see, I am assuming omega L equal to 1 over omega C because that part is 0. So I have written that, and under that condition, I want to find out what's the frequency, because you will create this situation by tuning the frequency, by controlling or adjusting the frequency. I want to know that frequency, which is called resonant frequency. That's why here I am using the symbol omega naught for these two. So that I want to find out what's the value of omega naught. Therefore, everybody see, I divide by L, and then this is omega naught square LC. So ultimately omega naught is 1 over root over LC, radian per second. Or from here you could write omega means 2 pi f, so 2 pi not 1 over root over LC. So in terms of frequency, f naught is 1 over 2 pi root over LC hertz. So therefore in terms of angular frequency, omega naught is 1 over root over LC. In terms of normal frequency, 1 over 2 pi root over LC. And then this is the magnitude of current, Vm over G for this one. So therefore this omega naught 1 over root over LC, from now on everybody will remember, in case of a frequency response or frequency responsive circuit, resonant frequency is 1 over root over LC in radian per second, or you might express in that format. So F naught or omega naught are called resonant frequency. Then moving forward, now everybody look the last equation, I equal to Vm over this Z. Based on that, I will be plotting, and then we will continue. So see, by using that equation, that last equation, I am calculating the value of I. See, we just learned that omega naught, that point. So in the omega naught point, everybody see, value was Vm over R. So what is that omega naught? Omega naught means this one, 1 over root over LC. How I got this one? I got by assuming this one, that omega L minus 1 over omega C is 0. So this means, look this I equation, if you say this part is 0, this means in your circuit I is Vm over R, because there is root over R squared, so Vm over R. So that's why, look everybody, at the peak point, that is Vm over I. This axis I and this axis omega that I am plotting. And then at this point, and then according to this curve, you see, there are two more points. There is at omega 1, and at this point is omega t. oh sorry, omega 2. So therefore, at this point or this point, value of the I is, you see, 0.707 Vm over R. This means ultimately Vm over root 2. Therefore, if you have calculator, if you do 1 over root 2, that is basically 0.707. So meaning that at omega 1 and omega 2, current value is the same, which is Vm over root 2R. So now we will be looking that thing, that how we can get that on that Vm over root 2. So here you see, I am equating that on that impedance that is equal to root 2R. So my goal is to find out what is omega 1 and what is omega 2. Everybody see, I know what is omega naught. I know omega naught value is this one over root over LC. But I need to know what is the value of omega 1 and what is the value of omega t. So I said that at this point and at this point, current value is Vm over root 2R. Or in other words, impedance is root 2R. So this is my impedance expression, this one. This one should be root 2R at that point, at those 2 points. And say, already I have said, the distance, the difference between these 2 points is called bandwidth, the frequency bandwidth. So therefore I am finding this point and this point. So everybody see, I wrote down that is root 2R, and then I am calculating. I squared on both sides. So therefore this side became 2R squared. And then I organized, rearranged the terms in that way. Now look, this one, this is like a square minus b square in algebra. So exactly I am following that one. This plus r and then this minus r, that equals to 0. So everybody, could you follow me so far? Does this make sense?
Kind
Just
of.
trying to write it down.
Yeah. So
I'm sure it'll make more sense like once we see it in action.
oh yeah. So I mean, up to now everybody understood, right? I mean, until this figure. So first of all, this analysis easily you can understand. This is for that series circuit. So everybody, do you understand up to now?
Yes.
Yes.
I think this is fine. And then everybody concentrate that last current expression, I equal to Vm over G. From there, I plotted this one, that I am getting this response. So, and then we are looking the series resonance. As I said, resonance means the maximum or the peak current. So in this curve, this is the peak point, which is Vm over R. And that corresponds to omega naught frequency, which we call the resonant frequency. This means this omega naught. And now what I am saying, that I need to know what is omega 1, what is omega 2. That is my goal. I mean, still I am not done, even though in the next slide, that is my objective. My goal is to find out what is omega 1, what is omega 2. That I am trying to achieve. But then I have said that I have defined that point, you will get these two values when the I value is Vm over root 2R. But it is written here 0.707. This means 1 over root 2 is that value. So that's why for this point, I have written this one. The impedance is root 2R. That from there, we just got this one. So therefore, after that, now everybody see the last expression, meaning that, okay, this is in parenthesis. So this could be 0 or this could be 0. Like think about how you solve the algebra in equation in high school. Exactly, we are doing that thing. So now look this one. This one, there are two sides. This is left side, this is right side. I mean, from this one, this equal to 0 or this portion equals to 0. That thing I am writing here twice. First, this one could be 0 or right side, this one could be 0. Now everybody follow. What I am doing, I am just simplifying. So here you see in the denominator, middle term, it was omega c. So that's why you see I am multiplying this on, so omega is square LC, but then later I am dividing by LC. I am making a quadratic form. So that's why this is omega is square. And then I am writing this term first, this R, omega over L, and then this on middle term last. So this is just the operation. So I believe you have your pen and note, you can check. So therefore, this is a, everybody look, this is a quadratic equation, like x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So therefore, what is the value of x? In this case, omega is the variable. So omega is minus b. This represents R over L represents b in general form. Then plus minus b squared. Again R over L square. Minus 4a. A means in this case 1. C means this one. So then minus minus become plus over 2a. And then everybody, could you follow like how it is written?
Yes.
Yes, that basic equation, quadratic, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. That one. Now you see, now I am, now because everybody see there are plus minus, so definitely you will be getting two values. Here I am manipulating, and after that I am writing two expression. This means omega will have two value, one with the plus sign and other will be the minus sign. So I got two values, omega 1 and omega 2. So now everybody see, between these two values, definitely omega 2 is negative. Like I have written, but here is omega 2 negative. So this means we cannot take this one as a solution. Everybody look, what we are trying to find out? We are trying to find out this point, omega 1 and omega 2. And everybody see, because this is your 0 point and all are the right side of the 0, this means this should be the positive value. Omega 1, omega naught, omega 2, these can't be the negative values, always positive. Those are not in this side, those are in this side. So definitely omega 1 and omega 2 should be positive. And between these two, omega 2 must be greater than omega 1. So that we are trying to find out what is the value of omega 1 and what is omega 2. So now, because you see, we got two solutions, one omega 1, other omega 2. But what I am saying here, omega 2 is negative. So this cannot be the solution, right? Yeah. But this will be positive. Everybody see, this is minus r over 12. But then inside the square root, r over 12 squared, the same number is here, plus there is something, 1 over LC. Therefore, after making square root over, then still this will be positive. I mean, this will be larger than this one. So ultimately, your omega 1 will be positive. So we can say this is one solution. Yes. Could you follow me what I am saying?
Yes.
Yes. Now the right side, I mean, from here, for this portion, this could be the 0. From there, again, I am making the exactly the similar analysis that I did left side. Here I am going, I am moving, and here see again your omega has two values, one with the plus sign, other with the minus sign. But again, you see here this omega 2 is negative, because you see this is plus sign, but here it is minus, but definitely this result will be larger than this one. So this means clearly this will be negative. But you see this is plus sign, so definitely this is fully positive. So therefore here you got 1 omega 1, and from left side we are accepting this result because this will be positive. Now easily you can guess which one will be larger. This omega 1 will be larger or this will be larger. Which one larger?
One on the right.
One on the right, exactly, because all are the plus sign. Therefore, now we are done. We can say in this picture, now look this picture, one was omega 1, other was omega 2. And clearly, omega 2 must be greater than omega 1. Therefore, definitely you can say this one is omega 2 in that diagram, and this one should be the omega 1 in that diagram. Could you follow me what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So therefore, this one is your actually omega 2 and this one is omega 1. That thing now I am, in next slide, I am summarizing. So the final solution of omega, again, I have shown that one. Omega 1 is that result that is coming from left side, this one. And then your omega 2 is the other one. So here you can clearly see. So therefore, these two expressions you need. Today we will be solving one or two numerical problems. So at that time, you need to use these equations. I mean, you may note down in your note right now. Soon I will be showing you the numerical problems. Okay, now moving forward from this one. So we got omega 1, omega 2, these 2 points, and we already calculated this point omega naught, which is 1 over root over LC radian per second. And then now I am showing some just calculation. If you multiply these two, omega 1 and omega 2, I am multiplying, you see, a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So a square minus b square. So that thing I have written. So ultimately you will be getting 1 over LC, and then omega naught is then root over omega 1 into omega 2, which is 1 over root over LC. So in that way they are related. And then this is called bandwidth. This is expressed by the symbol B, bandwidth. What is the difference between omega 2 and omega 1? So that is omega 2 minus omega 1. So in the numerical problem, you will be asked to calculate what is the resonant frequency. At that time, you will be using this equation. You will be asked calculate the bandwidth B. Therefore, to calculate bandwidth B, then you definitely you need omega 1 and omega 2. That's why these expressions are needed. Could you follow me, everybody, so far?
Yes.
Okay. Then moving forward, now there is an important concept which is called the quality factor. Therefore, today we are looking at series circuit. Again, I am showing that series circuit, and we analyzed this diagram. One term here I am writing quality factor for the resonance circuit. So what does that mean? You see, at the bottom I have written that the sharpness of the resonance in a resonance circuit is measured quantitatively by the quality factor. This means, as you see that as I told that the resonance means the peak current, the highest point or highest value, which corresponds to omega naught, that indicates the sharpness. So sharpness of the resonance circuit is measured by the quality factor. This means the quality factor will be higher if the peak goes much higher. So everybody see, currently this is my peak and then I am getting omega and omega 2. If that is much more higher, if the peak goes much more higher, so therefore the distance of the bandwidth will be much more narrower, much more smaller. If it could be like very high, then this distance between omega and omega will be very, very small. That is called the high quality circuit. So the goal of the resonance circuit is to achieve the highest value as much as possible so that the distance between omega 2 and omega 2 is less, very, very narrow bandwidth. That is called the quality factor. So therefore, here I have written what is the definition. Now I am quantifying in terms of the equation, quality factor. So actually, I mean, you see, I have written two definitions, QL star and then QC star. That quality factor, it is coming in terms of inductance and then the capacitance. So this is the series circuit that we started talking about today. So, and then what happens, I said that series resonance will occur when XL equal to XA. So therefore, in fact, what happens for the resonance condition, here I have written the reactive energy in the circuit oscillates between the inductor and capacitor during resonance condition. So as I said that by adjusting the frequency, I am cancelling the impact of this on and this on. That's why in the circuit only R remains. What does that mean? What is the real meaning? The real meaning is that during resonance, the reactive energy in the circuit oscillates between inductive and capacitor. So meaning that reactive energy with regard to the reactive power Q. So that's why here we are expressing by the symbol QQ to indicate the reactive quality factor for inductor. This is quality factor for the capacitor. So now, and then what I said, the quality factor relates the maximum or peak energy stored to the energy dissipated in the circuit per cycle of oscillation. So for each and every cycle, how much peak energy is stored in those reactive component, inductor and capacitor, then divide by what is the maximum energy dissipated, meaning that because energy dissipated, this means that is the resistance. So therefore everybody see the equation, what I have written, quality factor means I square XL multiplied by T. What is I square XL? I square XL is for this one, current I is flowing, and XL is its inductive reactant. So I square XL is the power for this inductor. And then when I am multiplying by T, T is the time period. You see the definition says per cycle of oscillation. This means for each cycle. And then the time period is T. So therefore ultimately this is T, time. So therefore power multiplied by time, this is the energy. So that was the definition. Reactive energy in the circuit oscillates between the inductor and capacitor. So therefore, this is the inductive energy divided by the dissipated energy through the resistance. So I square R is the power, and T, when I am multiplying by T, it is getting energy. So therefore, see, next line, my I square cancelled, T cancelled. What is XL? XL is omega naught L. I wrote omega naught because that is the resonance condition. We are talking about the resonance condition over R. Everybody, could you follow me what I explained about the definition of quality factor?
Yes.
Yes. So therefore just keep in mind that the inductive energy over the dissipated energy. Use the term energy. That's why the T is multiplied. Therefore, now as I said, the energy oscillates between these two components, these two reactive elements. So you can define the quality factor for the capacitor. So same thing, everybody say I square XA. This means this is the power, reactive power for this component multiplied by that time period. So this is reactive energy inside the capacitor over again the dissipated energy through the resistor. So now in this case, everybody say again T cancelled, I square cancelled, but X is on over omega C. So on over omega naught C, and then this is the R. So therefore you can say, I mean, when you solving the problem, you could use either equation, either this one or this one. You will get the same result. This means if you have a series circuit and you are asked to calculate the quality factor, either equation will be fine. You will be getting the same result. Because you see, because that omega naught is involved, and that omega naught is on over root over LC. That's why you will be getting the same result. So that I have written here, that K equal to this equals to this. Now here I have written one thing, you see, that bandwidth that we are showing in the previous slides, bandwidth is omega 2 minus omega 1. That is my definition. But previously I calculated what is omega 2, what is omega 1. If you subtract this one from here, if you do omega 2 minus omega 1, then you will be getting ultimately R over L. So just by looking, you can guess this minus this. So therefore, if you minus, then this is getting plus, this is minus. So these two will be cancelled, 2R over 12, so R over L. So you could say that this distance for series circuit is just R over L. So without even calculating the omega 1 and omega 2, you can calculate the V bandwidth by using this equation. I mean, I am showing you all the possibilities that how you can calculate the parameters. I mean, soon after this slide, I am coming on numerical example. And then this one, if this is right, that V equal to R over L, so therefore look the very first equation, it was Q equal to omega naught L over R. So here it is R over LV, but here it is like L over R. So you can say that V is here. So that's why you might express the quality factor with respect to this one as well. Q equal to omega naught over P. Now, here there is an approximation. I have written that if quality factor is high, so what is the meaning of the high? When it is greater than 10. When it is greater than 10 or equals to 10, then we can make some approximation. I mean, if the quality factor value is greater than or equal to 10, we can say it's a pretty good number, good quality circuit. We can make some approximation based on this diagram. What is the approximation? Omega 1, this left side point, very close to omega naught minus B over 2. The total distance is V, so we can say this is half, this is half. So omega naught minus B by 2. And what is the omega 2? We can say omega naught plus B by 2. Therefore, when I am saying the quality factor high, meaning that the high the sharpness, the lower value will be the bandwidth, and the quality will be high. That's why I have written for narrower bandwidth, if this distance is very small, that is the meaning that quality factor is high. Under that condition, you can use these approximation to calculate omega 1 and omega 2. This means in any numerical problem, if you notice that your quality factor value is, for example, 15, or quality factor is 20, so that is definitely greater than 10. So directly you can use these equation to calculate omega 1 and omega 2 instead of using these two expressions. I mean, today, either way, I will show you. If you use these two, still you will be getting the same result. Also, if the quality factor is very high, meaning that greater than 10, and if you use these two equations, still you will be getting the same value. So, everybody, could you follow me so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's take a numerical example and then everybody will be clear. Everybody read this one. Look, in the circuit of the following figure, R is 2 ohm, L is 1 millihenry, and say 0.4 microfarad. Those values are given, and the voltage signal 20 sine of omega t. Now, first question, find the resonant frequency and the half power frequency. So half power frequency means basically those 2 points, omega 1 and omega 2. Those 2 points are called the half power frequency because power will be the half of this point. Accordingly, omega 1 and omega 2 called the half power frequency. That is the meaning. So this means here you have to find out resonant frequency, which is omega naught, and omega 1, omega 2. Next question, calculate the quality factor, that Q, that just I showed in previous slide, and the bandwidth, which is B. And then I'm saying, determine the amplitude of the current at omega naught, omega 1, and omega 2. Now, here just I wrote down the answers. Now, let's have a look the solution. So first, everybody see, those values are given RLC. I will be calculating resonant frequency, and half power frequency means omega 1 and omega 2. So therefore, see everybody, omega naught. What is omega naught? 1 over root over LC. I'm just substituting the value of L and C. So L was 1 millihenry, so 1 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 3. Capacitor was 0.4 farad, sorry, microfarad. So I converted into farad. So ultimately I got 50 kiloradian per second. I express in that way. I got that one. Now I need to calculate those two, half power frequency, which is omega 1 and omega 2. And now you see, I am using those two long expression, which I got here. You see, omega 1 this one, omega 2 this one. So that thing I am using here, omega 1, and everything is given in the RLC value. So I got 49 kiloradian per second. And then omega 2, I got 51 kiloradian per second. So therefore, easily the next question was find out the quality factor and bandwidth. So first I am calculating the bandwidth B, because I know bandwidth B means this omega 2 minus omega 1 that we discussed. This distance is the bandwidth, omega 2 minus omega 1. So therefore, omega 2 minus omega 1, this is your omega 2, 51, and this is your omega 1. So I got 2 kiloradian per second. And you see, once I got V, and I have calculated the omega naught at the top, so now I can find out the quality factor Q, omega naught B. I use this expression, this one. Everybody see? Quality factor is omega naught over B. So with the help of that, I got omega naught is 50. It was here, and then bandwidth 2, I got 25. So because quality factor is 25, so definitely this is the high quality. The band, because bandwidth is only 2 kiloradian. That's why I got the Q high. Everybody, could you follow me so far?
Yes.
Yeah, these are just the calculation. So again, after the class, at your free time, you look, so everybody will be getting. So we are done question number B. Question number C was determine the amplitude of the current at omega naught, omega 1, omega 2. What is the value of current at this point, and this point? So you see that answer will come from here. This axis was current. So what was the value of current at omega naught? Vm over R. What was the value of current at this point, Vm over root 2 R, or 0.707 multiplied by Vm into R. So now that calculation, it is in the next slide. So everybody see, I have written at omega equal to omega naught, Im is Vm over R. So what was my Vm? My Vm was 20. Everybody see, this was the voltage, 20 sine of omega t. This is the peak of the voltage, 20. So that I am using Vm over R. So
Dr. Ali, if that was 20 cosine, would that change it?
no.
No? Okay.
No. So because you see, so you may change in cosine, but then the angle will be changed, but the magnitude will not be changed.
Okay, so that's only the magnitude.
Yeah, only the magnitude. Okay, so therefore you are right. If you express this on in terms of the phasor quantity, then you have to change into cosine and consider the angle, but magnitude, amplitude will not change. So in this case, the question determine the amplitude of the current. That's why only point of interest is the amplitude of the voltage. Okay, good. So I am Vm over R, so it is 10 ampere. And then at omega equal to omega 1, omega 2, at those 2 points, Im is Vm over root 2, ultimately Vm over root 2. So I got, you see, 7.07 ampere. So then I am done. Now, I mean, here first I calculated omega 1 using this long expression, and then I calculate omega 2 using the long expression. And then I calculated bandwidth, and then I calculated the Q. So you might go the alternative approach. What is the alternative approach? You see, first you calculate omega naught by using 1 over root over, that is fine, 50 kiloradian per second. I am getting the same value. Then you calculate the Q. What is the Q? Omega naught L over R. You use this expression, omega naught L over R, very first expression, and then I got 25. You see, in the previous case, I calculated first B, and then I calculated Q by using the other equation, and then I got the quality factor 25. So in the, and then to get all of these things, I had to calculate omega 1 and omega 2. So instead of calculating these two, omega 1 and omega 2, what I am doing, alternative solution, first I am calculating this one, and then immediately I am calculating Q by using the other equation, you see, omega naught L over R. Then still I am getting 25. But then what is my conclusion? My conclusion is that quality factor is high, which is greater than 10, because this is 25. So what I will be using? So simply I will be using those two approximation. Omega 1 is omega naught minus b by 2. Omega 2 is omega naught plus b by 2. You remember I was telling you this thing. Look this one. That if quality factor is high, meaning that greater than 10, then we can approximate. Omega 1 is omega naught minus b by 2. Omega 2 omega naught plus b by 2. So I am using this one. So that's why in the alternative solution, first I calculated the Q. Right after calculating the resonant frequency, because you need to plug in this one in the Q equation, you know LR value, I got Q. To understand that it is greater than 10 or not. Now, if you get this value is Q value is the less than 10, then you have to use those two equations. I mean, omega 1 and omega 2, the way we did. But the question, because I am getting greater than 10, so I will not be using those two long expression, I will be utilizing. Then still I am getting the same result. Omega 1 is 49 and omega 2 is 51. And then before that, of course, you will be calculating the B value because you need B here. Could you follow me what I am saying?
Yes, definitely gonna use that method instead.
Yes, this makes sense. This means first you calculate the Q and see that whether it greater than 10 or not. If it is 10, then immediately use this thing. And then before that, you calculate the B. And if you see, no, it is less than, then you do this way. Or you did not look anything, you did not take into account the quality, then you use the usual standard formula. That is also okay. So what I am saying that if someone does this way, and then if someone does this way, provided that Q, then still you will get the same result and you will get the same credit. It is the same thing that I am saying. Okay, look one more example, then it will be much more clear to you. Here I am just saying a series connected circuit has R4 ohm and L25 millihenry. The C value is not given. And then I am saying that calculate the value of C that will produce a high quality factor of 50. Yes. So in that case, quality factor value is given, which is 50. C value is missing. What should be the value of C that will cause that 50? That is the question. Given R and L. Next question, find omega 1, omega 2, and then bandwidth V. The last question, determine the average power dissipated at omega equal to omega naught, omega 1, omega 2. And then take Vm equal to 100 volt. Because the circuit is not given, that's why in this problem, the peak value of voltage is given, 100 volt. So here I just wrote down the answer. Now let's start the solution. Everybody see, first I have written down here, omega naught is 1 over root over LC. And then, because the quality factor is given, high quality of 50, so first I have written down the quality factor equation in terms of L. So Q is omega naught L over R. My Q value is 50. So then from there, I plug in LR value. I got the omega naught value. So my omega naught value is, just I express in that way, 8 multiplied by 10 to the power 3 radian per second. I mean, you might express 8,000 or 8 kiloradian. I just express in that way. So now there are two ways. Once you get the omega naught, and you see, everybody, my omega naught is 1 over root over LC. The question is, find out the value of C. Now you know LR, so you can get the C from here, provided that you know omega naught. So just now I calculated the omega naught. So if you plug in omega naught in that equation, and if you substitute the value of L, then you will be getting C. That thing I am doing exactly here. Everybody see? This is omega naught, this value multiplied by root over LC, this one equals to 1. And then I am plugging L value. So finally I got C, 0.625 microfarad. Now, instead of doing this way, you might calculate the C different way. You see, I used on Q definition here. That Q is with regard to inductance. Again, I am writing Q, the same thing, Q50, with respect to capacitor, 1 over omega naught RC. So, I mean, you remember? So, this was our definition. Q with respect to L is this one. Again, Q with respect to capacitor is this one. Both way it is the same. So because in the problem it is asking C, that's why I am using this expression. So let's go there. You see, I wrote that on Q50 1 over omega naught RC. So therefore, because I know the R value, so from here directly I am getting the C value. So which is the same. So what I am telling is that once you get that omega naught, and then either you can use this equation to calculate C, which I have done here, or again you can write the other Q expression for capacitor, because capacitor is there, so still you will be getting the same value. Could you follow me, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then next time what I am doing, I am calculating the V. V is R over L. You see, in on slide I have shown you this one. Look, V was omega 2 minus, which was R over L. So I am utilizing this one. So that's why V is R over L. So I got 160 radian per second. Now, why I calculated that one? I want to take that advantage. Since Q is high, high means quality factor is 50. Quality factor is 50. Definitely that is greater than 10. So I can use that omega 1, omega naught minus V by 2. Now I expressed in radian per second like 7,920, and then omega 2, 8,080 radian per second. So could you follow me? Because quality factor is high, so I am using those two approximation, which I showed in the alternative solution previously. So this means then I am done with part B. Now the last question, determine the average power dissipated. What is the average power? It is not just asking the current, it is asking average power. So how to do that? So everybody see, at omega equal to omega naught, I naught is Vm over R. That you understand. So Vm value is given, you see, take Vm is 100. So using that on Vm 100, I am getting 25 ampere. So then what is the average power? You remember that phasor analysis power calculation that we looked several classes back. Half Im square R. Half, that is the average power equation when the peak value is given. If the RMS value is given, keep in mind, if the RMS value is given, then average power is directly Im square R. You don't need to have. But if it is the peak value, then you have to use half Im square R to calculate the average. So that I am doing. So then this is the Im value. I got 1.25 kilowatt. And then next case, what is the power at omega 1, omega 2? You know, at omega 1 or omega 2, Im is Vm over root 2R. So I calculated, this is the current. So therefore, corresponding those 2 points, average power is half Im square R. So plug in this number. So I am done. I got 0.625 kilowatt. Everybody, could you follow me?
Yes.
Yes. So great. So therefore, again, at your free time at home, everybody look all those calculation, and then you will be fine. Yeah. Because I understand that first time you are looking these things. So first everybody try to understand all those theory, equations that I discussed today. First you start from that first slide, and then you understand until this slide, and then you start looking the numerical problem. Then everybody will be fully fine, like how I calculated all of these things. And these are not, difficult problem. As long as you are writing equation correctly, for example, you are writing Q equation correctly, you are writing Q equation correctly. Now, if you just reverse like Q equal to omega naught R by L, then you will get completely different result. You understand what I mean? Or you wrote here, okay, 1 over omega naught, either R or C, you put numerator by mistake, then you will be getting different result. As long as you are writing correct expression, you should be getting the correct result. Okay, so is everybody fine? I think in your lab, in any of the 1 or 2 labs, and in the design problem, you will be facing that quality factor, the bandwidth, series resonance, everything will come. The thing that I am discussing, those will be at least in 2 lab, I think, at least in 2 lab. And even in the design problem, you will be getting this type of situation. Okay, so then I think we don't have time today. I'm stop sharing. Does